Chapter 1. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. How I wonder what you are, up above the world so high like a diamond in the sky. But what if those stars weren't stars at all? What if they were something else, something watching, waiting, and planning? The city hummed with the energy of 1,000 lives intertwined. But in the heart of it all lay Jack, a man haunted by his own demons. His days were spent lost in a haze of alcohol-induced oblivion, his nights filled with aimless wandering. As he stumbled through a dimly lit alley, the distant echo of laughter and music faded into the background as he came face to face with a sight that would forever change his perception of reality. Hovering above the towering buildings, an otherworldly object bathed the alley in an ethereal glow. It pulsated with an eerie light, casting distorted shadows on the surrounding walls. Jack's blood ran cold as he watched, unable to tear his eyes away from the inexplicable sight. The object seemed to be observing the city below. Its presence filled him with a sense of unease that sobered him instantly. It was as if the very fabric of his reality had been torn apart, revealing something incomprehensible lurking just beyond the veil of normalcy. The strange object remained suspended in the sky, an ominous harbinger of things yet to come. What had Jack witnessed? Was it a figment of his addled mind, or something far more sinister? As he stumbled away from the alley, his thoughts were consumed by an overwhelming sense of dread. Little did he know that this encounter would mark the beginning of a terror beyond his wildest nightmares. Chapter 2. Jack's mind was consumed by the terrifying sight he had witnessed in the city that fateful night. His once aimless wandering had transformed into a relentless pursuit to uncover the truth about the otherworldly object. He became fixated on proving that what he had seen was real, but no one would listen. "I saw it. I'm telling you. It was there, watching us," Jack pleaded with anyone who would spare him a moment. But his desperate attempts to share his experiences were met with skepticism and dismissals. They labeled him as a drunkard, a madman whose ramblings were not to be taken seriously. Determined to gather evidence and prove the existence of the otherworldly presence, Jack began documenting his sightings and experiences in a tattered journal. He meticulously recorded each strange occurrence, each eerie light in the sky, and each whisper that seemed to emanate from the very air itself. As he delved deeper into his investigation, Jack's obsession grew, consuming his every waking moment. The fear of something watching him, waiting for the right moment to strike, gnawed at his sanity like a relentless parasite. The city became a labyrinth of paranoia and dread for Jack. Every shadow seemed to conceal an unseen threat. Every whisper felt like a malicious taunt. And as the days blurred into nights, he found himself constantly looking over his shoulder, unable to shake the feeling that something was following him. The more he searched for answers, the more he feared that he was uncovering something beyond human comprehension. It was as if he had pried open a door to a reality far more horrifying than anything he could have imagined. As Jack's obsession grew, so did his terror. It was only a matter of time before the darkness that lurked within the city's streets would consume him whole. The story ends with an open ending that leaves the audience hanging in terror. It is unclear whether this is the end or just the beginning of something even more horrifying lurking in the shadows. End of Chapter 2. Chapter 3. As Jack's obsession grows, so does his fear. He feels like he is being watched at every turn, and strange occurrences begin happening around him. Objects move on their own, strange lights appear in the sky, and whispers fill the air when no one else is around. The once bustling city streets become a sinister maze of shadows and unknown dangers. Jack's eyes dart from left to right, searching for any sign of the otherworldly presence he knows is lurking in the darkness. The air feels heavy with an unspoken threat, and the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end as if warning him of impending doom. As he walks through the desolate alleyways, the sound of his own footsteps is drowned out by a chilling sensation that he is not alone. A cold shiver runs down his spine, and he quickens his pace, desperate to escape the unshakable feeling of being hunted by something beyond human comprehension. But as he turns a corner, Jack is met with a sight that freezes him in terror. A figure stands in the distance, its form obscured by the darkness, yet radiating an otherworldly presence that sends a wave of dread crashing over him. It's as if the very air around him has turned hostile, suffocating him with an invisible malevolence that threatens to consume him whole. With trembling hands and a racing heart, Jack struggles to find his voice as he calls out into the void, hoping for a glimmer of human response in this nightmarish landscape. But all that answers him is a bone-chilling silence, broken only by the haunting whispers that seem to echo from every direction, as if mocking his futile attempts to escape. The overwhelming fear grips him like a vice, leaving Jack paralyzed with terror as he realizes that he has stumbled into something far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. And as the darkness closes in around him like an ominous shroud, the audience is left hanging in anticipation of what horrors await in the next chapter of this spine-chilling tale. End of chapter 3. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. But what if those stars weren't stars at all? What if they were something else? Something watching, waiting, and planning. Chapter 4. The cold, damp air enveloped Jack as he huddled in his makeshift shelter, his eyes darting nervously around the darkness. The stillness of the night was shattered by a voice that seemed to echo inside his mind. It was not a comforting voice. It was icy and filled with malevolence. "You have seen too much," it whispered, sending shivers down Jack's spine. "You are a threat." Jack's heart raced as he struggled to comprehend the source of the chilling voice. He felt a presence looming over him, unseen but undeniably menacing. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end as he realized that he had stumbled upon something beyond his understanding. With mounting dread, Jack knew that he had to escape. Fear propelled him into action as he bolted from his shelter and fled into the night, the darkness swallowing him whole. His feet pounded against the pavement as he careened through the deserted streets, every shadow morphing into a potential threat. Panic gnawed at him, urging him to keep running, to never look back. But no matter how fast he ran, he couldn't shake the overwhelming sensation that something was pursuing him, its malicious intent palpable in the air. As Jack's breath raggedly tore through his lungs, he found himself consumed by an unshakable paranoia. He was certain that an unseen force was closing in on him, its presence lingering just beyond his senses. The night swallowed up Jack's terrified cries, leaving behind an eerie silence that hung thick in the air. And yet, despite his desperate flight through the darkness, there was no escape from the relentless feeling of impending doom. The chapter ends with the audience left hanging in suspense, wondering whether Jack will evade the ominous force pursuing him or succumb to its insidious grasp. The unsettling uncertainty lingers like a lingering chill in their bones, leaving them haunted by the relentless terror that looms just beyond their understanding. Chapter 5. No matter where Jack goes, he cannot shake the feeling that something is following him. The tension increases as he becomes increasingly paranoid and fearful of an impending threat. As Jack walks through the dimly lit streets, his footsteps echo in the stillness of the night. Every shadow seems to elongate and reach out for him, and the cold breeze carries a sinister whisper that makes his skin crawl. He quickens his pace, but the oppressive feeling of being watched intensifies, causing him to glance over his shoulder repeatedly. The street lamps flicker ominously, casting eerie shadows that seem to dance around him. Jack's heart pounds in his chest, and a cold sweat breaks out on his brow as he frantically searches for a safe haven. But the city feels like a maze of looming buildings and dark alleyways, with no refuge in sight. Suddenly, a low rumbling sound reverberates through the air, causing Jack to freeze in terror. The sound seems to emanate from every direction at once, enveloping him in a suffocating cloak of dread. His breathing becomes shallow and rapid as he struggles to make sense of the impending horror that looms over him. A chilling voice echoes in his mind, sending shivers down his spine. "You cannot escape," it whispers malevolently. "We are everywhere." Jack's desperation reaches a fever pitch as he frantically sprints through the labyrinthine streets, each corner presenting a new nightmare. His mind races with fear and confusion, and he begins to question his own sanity amidst the relentless pursuit of an unseen terror. The chapter ends with Jack's anguished cries fading into the night, leaving the audience on edge, unsure of what fate has befallen him. The air crackles with an unspoken terror that lingers, leaving a haunting sense of unease and uncertainty in its wake. End of Chapter 5. Chapter 6. The next morning, Jack is nowhere to be found. Some claim he has succumbed to his demons and disappeared into the darkness forever. Others say they saw a blinding light engulf him as he screamed in terror. However, deep down they know that Jack had uncovered something unimaginable, leaving them with an unsettling feeling of dread and uncertainty. As the sun rises over the city, casting an eerie glow on the deserted streets, whispers of Jack's fate spread like wildfire. Some believe he was taken by the otherworldly beings he had been so obsessed with, while others argue that he was driven mad by his own paranoia. The city is shrouded in a blanket of unease, as if the very air itself holds a sinister secret. People look over their shoulders, their eyes darting to every shadow, half expecting to see something lurking in the darkness. It's as if Jack's fear has seeped into the very fabric of the city, infecting everyone with a sense of impending doom. Those who had once dismissed Jack's claims now find themselves questioning everything they thought they knew about the world. The stars above seem to gleam with an ominous glint, causing a chill to run down their spines. They wonder if there truly is something watching, waiting, and planning from beyond the reaches of the sky. The authorities launch an investigation, but all they find are Jack's scattered belongings and the remnants of his desperate attempts to prove his sanity. They comb through his notes and photographs, but nothing can explain the inexplicable events that led to his disappearance. Rumors spread like wildfire, each more terrifying than the last. Some say that Jack's voice can be heard echoing through the empty alleyways at night, pleading for help that will never come. Others claim to have seen strange lights dancing in the sky, moving in patterns that defy all logic. The city is left with an unsettling question lingering in the air. What if Jack was right all along? What if there are forces beyond our understanding, lurking just beyond our perception, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal themselves? The story ends with an open ending that leaves the audience hanging in terror. It is unclear whether this is the end or just the beginning of something even more horrifying lurking in the shadows. As the screen fades to black, a chilling whisper fills the air. They are watching you too. Chapter 7. The city was shrouded in an eerie silence as the story reached its chilling climax. Jack's disappearance had left a haunting impression on those who had known him, and the mystery surrounding his fate only deepened the sense of dread that hung in the air. Some whispered about seeing a blinding light engulf him as he screamed in terror, while others claimed he had succumbed to his inner demons and vanished into the darkness forever. But the truth remained elusive, and the unsettling feeling of uncertainty continued to linger. For those who had brushed off Jack's claims as the ramblings of a drunkard were now confronted with an unexplainable void that seemed to have swallowed him whole. The city, once bustling with life, had become a place of lingering unease, as if the very air itself was tainted by an unspoken terror. Whispers circulated through the streets, each one more sinister than the last. Some claimed to have seen strange lights flickering in the sky, while others spoke of an inexplicable sense of being watched, their every move scrutinized by unseen eyes. The fear that had gripped Jack now seemed to have infected the very fabric of the city, casting a shadow of paranoia over its unsuspecting inhabitants. As night fell, the once familiar streets took on a sinister quality, and the ominous silence was broken only by the occasional sound of hurried footsteps and hushed mutterings. Those who ventured outside did so with trepidation, their senses heightened and their nerves on edge. It was as if the city itself was holding its breath, waiting for something unspeakable to unfold. And so the story came to an end, or did it? The chilling uncertainty that hung in the air left the audience with a sense of foreboding, unsure whether they had witnessed the conclusion or merely scratched the surface of something far more horrifying that lurked in the shadows, waiting to reveal itself in all its nightmarish glory. The open ending left them hanging in terror, haunted by the lingering question, what unknown horrors awaited them in the darkness? Thank you for listening to The Watchers in the Night. I hope you enjoyed the spine-tingling tale of Jack and the otherworldly beings that lurk in the shadows. If you found yourself on the edge of your seat, be sure to like and subscribe for more bone-chilling stories that will haunt your dreams. Stay tuned for more terrifying tales that will leave you questioning what lurks beyond the stars. And remember, don't look too closely at the night sky. You never know what might be watching back. Thank you for your support, and may your nightmares be filled with the unknown.